Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. So we got our final Marvel movie of 2017, so it's time for me to predict the next 5 Marvel movies, what I think is going to happen, what's coming up, and what's getting excited for Marvel. Let's do it. Before we get right into it though, let me give you my hierarchy of what we've gotten from Marvel in 2017 so far. Obviously, this list is missing The Punisher, which has not been released yet, and Inhumans, which I'm gonna wait till it's done, till I give a final judgment. It's not looking good, but I'm gonna wait till it's done. So here's what we got so far. So at the top, best thing from Marvel 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so fantastic. I loved it. It was great. Next, we have Spider-Man Homecoming, just as good as Guardians, but I think I enjoyed Guardians just a smidge more, but awesome as well, very great. Then after that, we have Defenders, which is probably my first little controversial pick. I did enjoy it a lot. It wasn't as in-depth as some of the other Netflix stuff, but it was still very enjoyable. Then under that, we have Thor Ragnarok. Once again, not as in-depth as other Marvel stuff, but still very much enjoyable. I think I just got more out of Defenders than I did out of Ragnarok. Sorry. Then, of course, under that, Iron Fist. It's Iron Fist. We've discussed it. We're done. And finally, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4. Still don't like that show. So yeah, this is what I think of Marvel 2017. Again, it's missing Punisher and Inhumans. Maybe I'll do another video once those are done to give you my full list of Marvel for the year, but we'll see. But in the meantime, let's get into the future. It's time to look ahead. The future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. Let's do it.
Black Panther.
So the first thing from Marvel next year is Black Panther, which looks freaking awesome. We already got the trailer, and it looks great. It's going to be directed by Ryan Coogler, who did Creed, and it'll be starring Chadwick Boseman reprising his role as Black Panther. Michael B. Jordan will be playing Killmonger. Andy Serkis will be reprising his role as Ulysses Klaue, and apparently Forrest Whitaker is going to play Zuri in this. So I think the plot is it's going to take place right after Civil War once again, and basically Black Panther is going to head back to Wakanda and to assume his role of King of Wakanda. In the meantime, Killmonger, which have you ever noticed you can only monger a few things like fish, cheese, death, and killing, and he apparently likes to monger killing. He's Killmonger. Anyways. He has been kicked out of Wakanda, unable to return, so he's going to enlist Ulysses Klaue to bring him back to Wakanda to steal vibranium or maybe some sort of herb, something to give him more power. And since Klaue is the only person to make it in and out of Wakanda alive, that's why he's going to bring Klaue along to, help him out, and he's going to give Klaue his actual claw because he had his arm taken off in Age of Ultron, so now he's going to get a weapon out of it. So he's going to return to Wakanda and start causing a bunch of shit with the other tribes within Wakanda, basically riling up a Wakandan civil war that, the Black Panther has to, be diplomatical around, but still like, what the hell is going on? And of course, will end up being a battle between Killmonger and Black Panther, and we'll see some good stuff. I'm very excited for this. I've never seen a movie whose entire aesthetic is Afrofuturism, which is futuristic Africa, which is awesome looking. I can't wait to see what they do with that idea. I can't wait to see Wakanda and how that works, and I'm excited to see a movie that takes place on Earth, but it's easily explained why the other Avengers aren't there because it's in Wakanda. They don't know about Wakanda or what's going on, so very cool. I'm very excited for this. It looks awesome. I can't freaking wait. Next movie.
Avengers Infinity War.
Yes, the big movie of 2018, Avengers Infinity Wars. Holy crap, this is going to be a massive movie. So it's going to be directed by the Russo brothers, who did Winter Soldier and Civil War, and this is their first official Avengers movie. Although Civil War was kind of an Avengers movie. But anyway, so here's who's going to be in it. We have Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Thor, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Scarlet Witch, Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange, Vision, Black Widow, Spider-Man, Falcon, Black Panther, Hawkeye, AntMan, War Machine, Loki, The Collector, and finally, of course, Thanos. We finally have Thanos. He's been teased since Avengers, and we have Thanos. This is going to be a culmination of the whole 10 years of Marvel. Although this, at the point this comes out, it'll be 11 years of Marvel movies. This is going to be a culmination of everything we've had, and I can't freaking wait. So here's what I think is going to go down. So obviously at the end of Thor Ragnarok, we see Thanos' ship approach the ship with all the Asgardians in it. So what I think happened is Loki stole the Tesseract, which he saw in the he saw in Odin's treasury in Ragnarok. He stole that and contacted Thanos and said, like, hey, I got this. You want to team up, buddy? And so Thanos is going to come on the ship, just start tearing it apart, join up with Loki and get the Tesseract, as well as rip the Soul Gem out of Heimdall. And I am officially in the camp that Heimdall has the Soul Gem. So I really think that's where it's going to happen, giving Thanos 2 gauntlets, and he's just going to tear through the Asgardians, leaving a bunch of rubble. But I don't think killing all the Asgardians, because I think that's going to lead into a movie later. But I think it's going to, send Hulk and Thor kind of floating out into space. And of course, if you saw the leaked trailer, Thor will eventually get ran into by the Guardians of the Galaxy. Thor is going to explain to the Guardians that, like, hey, this incredible, powerful being, stole these Infinity Gems. He's out to do this. And they're going to know that an Infinity Gem is with the Nova Corps, and Thor's going to know that the Vision has the Mind Gem. It's the Power Gem at the Nova Corps. So they're going to split their ways. They're going to drop Thor off at Earth, and the Guardians are going to go to the Nova Corps to, tell them that Thanos is on his way. In the meantime, Thanos is going to go to the Collector and pick up the ether from Thor: The Dark World, the red glowy one. So that's going to be was that the, I don't remember which gem that is, but he's going to pick up the ether, giving him 3 stones, and then he's going to head to Earth. Once on Earth, he's going to come down and know that the Vision has the Mind Gem in his mind, and the Avengers are going to try to defend against Thanos, but he's going to blow right through them and rip the Mind Gem out of the Vision's head, giving him 4 stones now, and the Avengers knowing, like, holy shit, this is going down, like, this is crazy, we cannot compete against this. And then he's going to head his way towards the Nova Corps. Unbeknownst to Thanos, Doctor Strange, who has the Time Gem, is going to join up with the Avengers, being like, hey, I have one of these gems, I think I can help against this guy. And the Avengers are going to go into space to try and meet with the Nova Corps to defend against the Power Gem. And it's just going to be this big blowing up battle with, in space, with the Nova Corps and Guardians and all the Avengers, and this big, crazy, incredibly nuts battle. People will die. People will be heroes. This is going to be crazy, awesome. I can't wait to see this. Holy crap. Yeah, this is going down. This shit's going down right now. But yeah, this is the big one. I can't wait to see it.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
So how do you follow up something as big and epic as Infinity War with Ant-Man and the Wasp? Although it seems weird, I do think it works, because we've just had this big giant one. Let's pull it back and do a more grounded hero story. Do something a little different. Bring it back to grounding after the insanity that Infinity War is going to be. So Ant-Man and the Wasp was directed by Peyton Reed, who did the original Ant-Man as well as Bring It On, so you know he knows how to bring it. It'll be starring Paul Rudd once again as Ant-Man, Evangelina Lilly as the Wasp, Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne, who is Hank Pym's wife, and Lawrence Fishburne as Bill Foster. As well as they have pretty much said that Ghost is going to be in this. Who Ghost is an invisible and or intangible villain who, depending on his or her suit, can go through walls or be invisible or both. So yeah, what I think is going to happen is Bill Foster, if you know who he is from the comics, is going to contact Hank Pym, who they're old buddies, and be like, hey, I found a way to contact Janet. And Hank's going to work with Bill Foster to bring Janet back. Because if you remember from the first movie, Janet was lost in the infinite smallness. So they're going to work to bring her back. In the meantime, a lot of Hank's lab will be burgled, and they'll steal a bunch of his research. And so Ant-Man and Wasp are going to work to figure out who stole this and what they're doing with it. And I think it's going to turn out that Bill Foster hired Ghost to steal this research to make his own suit, because Bill Foster is Goliath. So I think he's going to make his own suit to make him giant, and we're going to have a giant fight between Ant-Man and him. And Wasp is going to, join in, and since she can shrink and shoot shit, help out, and it's going to be this big battle with Hank bringing, Janet back to, regular size. I think building up to later movies. And, I think that's generally how it's going to go down. And I think, a good smaller movie after the insaneness of Infinity War will be great. I'm actually looking forward to this. We get another woman hero, which Marvel is sincerely lacking. And so I'm glad to see that they're bringing Wasp into this, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I really like the first Ant-Man, so I want to see more of that.
Captain Marvel.
So getting into 2018, we have Captain Marvel. Really interesting. So this movie is going to be directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who are a directing duo who did It's Kind of a Funny Story and Half Nelson. And far as I know, all I can tell is for sure starring, of course, will be Brie Larson as the titular Captain Marvel, and Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Now, they've officially said that this is going to take place in the 90s and deal with the Skrulls. So this is going to take place between Captain America, the first Avenger, and of course Agent Carter, and the first Iron Man. So a little bit more into the past of Marvel, which I really like to see. And obviously dealing with a lot with S.H.I.E.L.D. So I don't think this is going to be an origin story. I think Marvel's done with origins. I think we're going to see Captain Marvel already working with S.H.I.E.L.D. and maybe some hints and glimpses into her past. Not a whole lot of, what are my powers? What do I do? I think she's already going to be working with S.H.I.E.L.D. Some hint towards Ant-Man, although he has already quit by this point. If I remember, Ant-Man, he quit in the 80s. Hank Pym did. We'll see him. We'll see Captain Marvel working with S.H.I.E.L.D. and finding out that the Skrulls have, come on Earth, but the Skrulls are shape-shifting aliens. So they'll take in the place of different, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and we'll see how that works out. And I think this is going to build into the next Avengers movie, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I think it's going to be, a lot of work with Captain Marvel figuring out, doing some space stuff and how S.H.I.E.L.D. worked in the past, building into where we are now. And I like that idea because there is a big gap in the past of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I want to see built up. And I really think it's going to do some cool stuff. And it's Marvel's first female-led movie, at least in the MCU. And so they're finally getting to it, and I think they picked a good one. Captain Marvel is a staple of Marvel. Of course, she's also known as Miss Marvel, but now in the comics, she's Captain Marvel, and I'm glad they went with Captain Marvel rather than Miss Marvel for many reasons that we're not going into. But anyways, Captain Marvel, gonna be awesome.
Avengers Secret Invasion ?
All right, and finally, Avengers 4, which doesn't have an official title yet, but I'm hedging my bets that it's going to be Secret Invasion. So this is once again be directed by the Russo brothers. So Marvel's really, putting a lot of faith into them, which good on them. I mean, Winter Soldier and Civil War are great movies, so I'm really glad they're getting to really develop this universe. So far as I can tell from my research, these are the people that are officially signed on for Avengers 4. So we've got Wasp, Captain Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Falcon, Vision, Black Widow, Iron Man, War Machine, Hulk, AntMan, Hawkeye, Thor, Black Panther, and Spider-Man. So if you don't know the Secret Invasion storyline, basically it was the Skrulls have invaded the Earth by hiding as Avengers, and for many years. And it's kind of like this, who is a Skrull, who isn't a Skrull, kind of like The Thing horror movie. Who has been taken over, who hasn't. Also Invasion of the Body Snatchers, stuff like that. And I think they're really going to go with this, seeing that they're, introducing Skrulls in Captain Marvel. I think that's going to lead right into this, being that some people have been Skrulls this whole time. I'm really hedging my bets that Iron Man is a Skrull. But yeah, who's been a Skrull, who's not a Skrull, and it's going to be able to bring Avengers back down to a smaller level in a bit more of like a murder mystery style rather than this big giant epic, although I think obviously some's going to take place in space dealing with the actual Skrull invasion. But I think they'll do a better job being an actual secret invasion rather than the comic Secret Invasion, which a couple people were Skrulls and then it was a big giant battle. I think they can build this up a little bit more of a more like who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull, what's going on here. So I'm really curious about this. Of course, I could be totally wrong, and this could not be Secret Invasion, and this could all just be thrown in the trash. But that's my guess, is that they're going Secret Invasion for Avengers 4. And actually, that brings us to the end of the official titled Marvel movies that are coming out. Of course, they announced there's going to be a sequel to Spider-Man, and there's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But outside of that, they haven't named a lot. And I think that's because what's going to happen in Infinity War is really going to shape the future of Marvel. As well as Marvel's really good at waiting and not hedging a lot of bets on things they're not sure of. So they're going to wait and see like what heroes are favorites and who's going to build up from there. So I think we're going to get a lot of announcements once Infinity War has finished and get another slate of upcoming movies. But I think they're waiting and seeing on a lot and wait to see what's going to happen. I'm curious to where they're going to go from here. Who are going to be Avengers after all this? Who's going to be alive after all this? Like, what's going to happen? I don't know. It's been a long run with Marvel, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. So what do you guys think is going to happen in future movies? What do you think are going to be the Phase 4 movies coming up? And what do you think Avengers 4 is going to be named? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up, and let me know what you think. I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.